Hi, I'm Rod Smith from Wabigal, and today I'm with the one and only Yeena Thompson, who has kicked everything from breast cancer to COVID, and even my dog, if I had one. Yeena Thompson, how are you?
I'm good, Rodney. How are you?
I'm good. You've had a few health issues in that over the years, haven't you?
I have, yeah.
Just, feeling a bit bored?
I don't know. Give me something to do, something to tell the mob about.
Now, let's go first on vaccinations. You're fully vaccinated.
Fully vaccinated, yep.
Why did you get vaccinated?
Because I didn't want to end up in hospital or die from COVID-19, and I really believe that the vaccination was giving me a some coverage on that. So that's exactly why I did it.
Now, in saying that, you were unfortunately one of those people that, even though you were double vaxxed,
Yep.
You end up getting COVID.
Absolutely,
And
I
that's
did.
what I'd really like to talk about today. When did you first think that you might have had it?
After I got the alert, I went and had a test done, and the next day, still hadn't got the result back, but I felt like I had a headache in the afternoon, and so I went and had a lay down, and I didn't get up for 6 hours. I had a fever, and I knew then that it was probably highly likely that I had it. Had some body aches and a headache, and like I said, the fever, it was 38.6 or something like that. I reckon only within 24 hours I had those really harsh symptoms. Didn't really get a cough or sore throat. So so they were some of the things that I think that the vaccine definitely helped reduce. And then I got the alert to say I was positive, and I was like, oh, okay, thanks for telling me.
So from there, how did you get into isolation?
So immediately when I did get the text to say that I was positive, I shut my bedroom door and stayed in there for 3 days. But during that time, I was contacted by New South Wales Health, talked through all the stuff that needed to be done, how I could isolate at home. They had put me on the list to go into hotel quarantine, but I had to wait for a bed. So until that time, I had to be isolated at home. So it was pretty much about all my family working on the outside to make sure that they didn't get COVID as well. So we had a little chair at my door, and they would feed me. I was lucky enough I had a toilet and shower in the room, the same room as me. And I know that's not how it is for everybody, but I was one of the lucky ones. And my family were just putting food there, taking it away, washing their hands, washing up the stuff and wearing masks still when they were around me.
So from when you got diagnosed with COVID to now, what's it been, about a month?
3 weeks.
Yeah. How are you feeling now?
I feel good. Yep. I don't feel like there's much. I can still get a little bit tired. But I also have diabetes, and I've got all these other comorbidity stuff. So being vaccinated definitely helped me have reduced symptoms and not be hospitalised.
Some people have fear about if they do get COVID, that they don't want to go into isolation, that there's no help and there's no support. Was there help and support for you?
Yeah, I think there is. There's definitely help and support when you go into isolation. You're contacted by the nurses who are there every day. There's nurses on staff 24 hours a day. You have their phone number, so if you have any worries or concerns, whether it be with your mental health or with your physical health, they're more than happy to talk to you immediately on the phone. They'll come to the door. It's more about when you're in isolation, it's about the things that we want to do that we have to do outside, whether it might be our exercise or it might be smoke and cigarettes. They're the things that you really can't do if you go into isolation.
If someone was a smoker and that's one of their fears.
Yeah.
What would you say to them? I mean, talk to their GP or talk to the nurse and say, look, can you get me this and get me this?
Definitely. They have nicotine replacement therapies,
Yeah.
So they want to know if you have an addiction, when you go in there, so that it's helpful for them to be able to make sure that you get through the 14 days with some help.
Did you have any fears or concerns during that whole process, from maybe getting an alert text
Yep.
to then, as you said, when you went to bed and you like slept for 6 hours,
Yep.
to when you did find out you
Oh.
had it, going into isolation, being there, was there any fears in that and your concerns?
Absolutely. My biggest fear was, had I picked it up and then given it to somebody else. I have people that I look after on a day-to-day basis through my work. So when I found out, I was probably in contact with approximately 30 people during the days before I found out that I was positive. So before the tracing even happened, I just rang everyone individually because I knew who they were. And, I was able to let people know and for them to start isolating immediately themselves and go get tested and then go home. Luckily, no one else in my family, all my colleagues or my clients that I work with contracted COVID because of me. But that was my biggest fear, that someone vulnerable that I'd been near may have got that, and I felt like I knew I was protected and that I was going to be okay.
If people go into lockdown,
Yep.
what options are there?
Well, the options are self-isolation.
Yep.
So if you are lucky enough to I don't know if you call it lucky enough, but if you live at home alone, you can stay home. If you have other family members who aren't positive, you can isolate in your room, in one of the rooms in your house. And if that's the option that you want to do because you don't want to go to hotel quarantine, then you just talk to New South Wales Health about the safety steps that you and your family have to take. And we're lucky enough that the organisations in Newcastle have been very responsive. The Newcastle Collective, I think they call themselves. They're very responsive to families and help them with food and all that sort of stuff. So, don't be ashamed because people will help you. We all want to help each other get through this really hard time, and let everyone know that we are all out there. And if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. And that's why I went on Facebook straight away to say, I'm not ashamed. I want to tell people that you can get it, and I want to be someone who you can message, and say, hey sis, I just want to talk to you. This is happening to me. Where do I need to go to, or what else can I do? And that's why another reason why I really wanted to do this. Talk about my experience with COVID.
Thank you very much. But I would like to just reinstate, there is, as you said, there is a collective, a group of the Aboriginal organisations, of Wabakul, I know Mullumbimba,
Justice Community, We Care, Koyop,
Wandiali, and also New South Wales
New
Health.
South Wales Health.
So just want to say to mob out there, don't think you're alone.
No way.
There is help.
Yep.
Just ring up and you shall receive.
That's right.
Yeena Thompson, the girl that's kicked everything except my dog. That's because I don't own one.
Look out when you do.
Thank you for coming, and
It's been fun.
always is. Thank you.
Thank you.